Hey everybody, welcome to the Fired Up with CJ show. Today we have a very, very special treat. We have Tryshe Devney here who is in Seattle, and she's going to be doing a demonstration of her wonderful bowls that she has here. And we're going to learn at the very beginning, for part one, we're going to talk a little bit about sound healing. What is it? How does it work? And what kind of things you can use with sound healing. And then we're going to be doing this beautiful demonstration of all the bowls that she had. So welcome.
Thank you. It's a joy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to see you face to face.
I know.
Okay, so what is sound healing?
Well, in its simplest description, it is the use of sound and sound waves to restore balance and resonance to the body, or to the field, or to an environment. So you're really just simply using sound to just calm the nervous system. And there's a factor in sound healing that is it's called entrainment. So what's happening is that though the sound is the dominant pulse or dominant frequency, all other vibrating energies, which is everything in our nervous system and in our universe and our solar system, is all vibrating with sound. So if this is dominant, it's pulling everything into this rhythm and frequency. So it lowers our blood pressure, it calms our nervous system, it balances our endocrine system, and it reduces our stress. And so doing, we're actually moving into a kind of synchrony with the pulse and frequency of the earth itself.
Ah, wow.
Which is why we feel at peace. It's like we're not fighting with the rhythm of the earth.
Right, we're in resonance. So all those pieces that may be discordant with the sound, attune. It's like a tune. These sounds are like a tuning fork that allow us to get into the tune or the same resonance as Earth.
Absolutely, because we're human musical instruments.
Interesting.
So, and there are musical tones that correspond to the organs, and in fact, all that was created through vibration, and vibrations carry frequency.
And how do we know that they're musical instruments that are resonating with
musical
their organs?
tones? Well, we know that everything is vibrating in the universe. And that vibration is producing sound. They've done massive amounts of studies on protons when they finally come back around, because we also know that sound is around. It doesn't go and disappear. It comes back. Interesting. And and
I didn't know that.
A study that was out of Columbia that they did with protons, and it took a long time for the sound to return. They were closing up shop, they were folding up their instruments, and all of a sudden they heard the sound return on their meters.
That's cool.
And interesting, it sounded like one of these bowls. So that was also quite.
So those sounds then relate to organs, you said?
Our organs are carrying these harmonics, and you can measure them. I'm not sure how they measure them, but they do. So the liver is carrying a certain harmonic. The spleen, the kidney, all carry a harmonic signature. So there are some forms of sound therapy and sound healing where they're able to determine what the discrepancy is, where there's something out of balance, and be able to feed digitally, electronically, the sound that is missing.
That's cool. Okay, because I actually had a very similar experience. I was getting acupuncture. And the person who was giving me acupuncture said, you know what we're going to do is we're going to... He'd put all these nodes all over my body, and then it was literally attached to an electrical current. And he ran through it, and he said, your body just needs to remember, when I attach these currents, it's going to create a vibration, and the energy that's created is going to synchronize it's off sync right now, so we're going to synchronize this using different
pulses, rhythm,
so we're just doing the same thing, right?
Exactly.
Interesting.
But my the path I've chosen is acoustic. So I don't work with the digital sound because it's not natural to our systems. So I have found through my research that the voice is actually a stronger delivery system for the sound food we need to restore balance to the body. So oftentimes in my classes, in fact, I teach people how to use their voice to tune their own instrument. So, but it's everything in our body is harmonic and everything is musical. And so when we're out of balance, in fact, the ancients used to look upon disease as a musical issue. So they would sing and dance and drum to restore balance to the body.
Yes, interesting, because a lot of I've been studying shamanism, and a lot of the indigenous cultures are often using drumming, singing, and dancing for that very reason. And you wonder, why don't they do that anymore? And that's like the healing that
It
they
is
do.
absolutely the healing that, and what's so sad, I think, is that we have become so, in our thinking, westernized with the way music comes to us. So we've lost contact with that organic, primal, and I don't mean, primate, but that organic sound that lives within us. It's that spiritual, that mystical part of us that is so finely tuned. In fact, way back when farmers and artisans were creating bells and gongs, they would infuse those bells with their attunement from their hearts. They did it from love. Wow. They did it. They would, in fact, the Tibetan bowls were toned and prayed for as they would hammer and spin and mold those metals.
Isn't it funny? So right now we think of using these bowls to attune us, but in the past it was a mutual type of thing where I would be taking my energy and tuning that into the bowl.
And it was the energy that was infused with the earth frequencies. People were much more connected and tuned in, so that their sounds of the gong were part of the community that the sounds came from, part of the environmental frequency that was there, and they could hear it. There wasn't the kind of distraction and disturbance that we have in our daily digital overstimulated lives. So we've lost contact with that sacred instrument within us, and we all have it. So I find most often sound will stimulate. It can distort. It can make you sick. It can be. You can go into a city and just get sicker than a dog because of the influences of the sound pollution.
Right. So the resonance is not good for you.
Sometimes the sound will kill you.
Wow.
They use it as a weapon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly. But we're not talking
Let's
about
not go there.
This is all the good sound.
Okay, so there's so many different ways to producing sound, like you're saying, the natural voice and natural ways of producing sound. There's these things which there are these little chimes.
They're called tinctures,
Tinctures.
Yes.
There's this. I'm afraid that the noise will kill everyone. There's this because they're so loud. There's this, which is a bell.
Right.
We have a Tibetan singing bowls, and these are things that actually came from our house because they're things that you can buy in a store.
Yes.
And then there's oming, and there's tuning forks, and shamanic drums, and chanting. There's people who play instruments. There's all these different ways of connecting with the resonance of sound. Do you think that are there certain instruments that are better for certain types of things, or are they all good? Just pick the one you like.
Well, I think the first answer is yes. Certain instruments are better for certain types of information that you want to enhance. They've done tests on certain kind of rock music and see that it weakens a cell. They've done tests on, certain types of words, because words are part of a sound element too. But with all the instruments that we have, the most important instrument to tune is our human voice. We're the primary instrument. So if we're in harmony, the frequency that we put forth in the world is also in harmony. So it is what we're seeding into the world that becomes the thing that we create in the world.
So what does that mean practically? So if with a human voice, I didn't have to buy any of these things.
You really don't have to. Okay. Even though I sell them and I love them, and because people want to have them, and they augment and amplify. Right. That's what they do.
Right.
The Tibetan bowl was a drone for me, but the bottom line is that your voice is the most potent delivery system of harmonic food. So most of us don't know how to make sound, though, and we're terrified, and we've been taught to be quiet, to be small, to swallow our voices back. Mm-hmm. And so we grow into these adults with swallowed voices, silenced voices, timid voices, and we want to come out. I see a lot of people come to my workshops who are aching to find a full voice.
Yeah.
And your own authority. So opening that voice, using it with intention, allows the whole body to expand, and the organs know how to extract the frequencies needed.
Okay, so let's do a quick demonstration of what that may look like, and then afterwards we'll take a break and do some of the instruments. But tell us some voice, lead me through
some of the tone. The most typical tone that my favorite go-to tone is my heart center, which is an open ah sound. You find it in many cultures, but it's just a simple mid-range tone. Ah. Now the tendency is to make the sound kind of like you did. Ah. So we hear the pitch and we go ah.
Okay, what did I do wrong with my ah?
But we increase the resonance and the overtone quality, which is what we want, by opening the mouth. So you'd open it a couple fingers wide.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay, I felt a lot more vibration in my mouth and inside. So that's
it's spreading throughout your body.
Ah, okay. So when I do this,
and you didn't even have to hold your finger.
I know. I'm just showing people. So what is it doing to my heart?
It's stimulating your immune system. It's softening the entire nervous system. So your nervous system is moving into that entrained field. So it starts to find now its natural pulse and its natural rhythm. The brain now is coordinating these tones and changing the way you perceive yourself in time and space. So if you perceived yourself as stressed, if you've perceived yourself as in lack, or can't do something, that's a pattern of thought. Well, what happens with sound is that in that moment, it can mitigate that sound pattern, that harmonic pattern.
Like it breaks it.
And sequences the brain so that you have an expanded sense of possibility. And you may not use those words, but you just feel more at ease. So now your brain is able to say, I can do this. I can do this. I can do my computer. I'll just once.
All right.
That's right. I can get there. I can find directions. I can make this thing work.
Okay, guys. What are some other sounds that you may want to try?
Another one I love is the throat.
Okay.
So it's a real open, soft tones. You're not really pushing. Works on the thyroid. But it's also helping to expand the way we speak energetically so that we're speaking from a place that is non-judgmental. And it's more expanded. Now, these tones I teach, but I teach them in order. There's a root, second, etc. That's the way to really work with these, because then you're tuning up every part of you as we go.
So you're actually tuning your
from the
first
base,
chakra, second, third. Okay,
and they all correspond with the endocrine system.
Okay.
So you're really balancing the whole body system by working with these primordial tones. And they're primordial because these were the tones we heard in utero. These were pre-verbal tones.
Okay, I know that we can't demonstrate all of them, but show us that if you were to tune each, what do they sound like so I can see?
The root sounds like this. The second one is like mid-abdomen. Oh, the third, my personal favorite, sounds like you're throwing up. So it's not through the throat you make this sound, but through the muscle grab right at the base of the spine. What's so fascinating is that this tone, all the tones, but specifically this one, stimulates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve, we're finding, is probably the most important nerve and the longest nerve in the body. And they call it the second brain. It sits right at the base of the sternum. So it's the one that helps you trust your instincts, trust your gut.
Yeah.
It also helps you with digestion. Is it?
I've been making that all day. Now I have a reason to make that
but
noise.
You don't want a tight throat.
Yeah.
You want a soft throat, but the grab is here. So you feel it right around the ribcage.
Okay.
And then you're moving up to the heart. So we gradually move higher. Then the throat. Ooh. Third eye into the falsetto. It's coming through the nose and the mouth at the same time. And then the last one is the crown.
Okay, what are you doing with the noise with that in that case? It feels like it's vibrating up here, but what do you do? How are you making that sound?
I'm making that sound simply by putting my tongue in the soft palate, flush against the soft palate, so this tone is only coming through the nose. And I make sure my spine is aligned, so I'm not, reaching for the sound, because a lot of us get turkey necked on this. I want to get to that sound.
Right.
Right. And we try singing it.
Yeah.
The key thing is moving it through the sinus passages.
Okay.
So you place the thought right at the pituitary, right at the center of the head.
Wow.
And the sound, so I'm not singing it.
Yeah.
And same with the third eye. It's not singing. If I'm doing it correctly, it sounds like this.
Yeah.
I'll squeeze my nose and it'll stop the sound. If I'm singing it, it'll sound like this.
Right.
And it's not doing anything. It's not stimulating anyway.
Right. You want this to be vibrating up here.
Right.
Fascinating. Okay. How would we learn more if we wanted to try this?
Well, you can't. My workshop at East West on Sunday called Making Waves, Hands-on Healing with Crystal Bowls, will be tuning the human instrument first, the first half.
Okay.
So we're really working with that and working with some exercises that help our ear tune into what it is to match and hear each other tonally. And then the second half will be how to work with these bowls. Because some people may want to buy one, because these are for sale for people if they want to work in their own home as personally, or if they have a healing practice and they want to add sound to that practice to really augment the work that they've done. Even if it's acupuncture, it will hold the frequency adjustment longer. Chiropractic. Even I have folks who play my CDs in their coaching and therapeutic sessions, low in the background, because it's helping the brain to soften and receive.
Wow.
Because the brain is moving into this highly suggestible alpha theta state when you're making these sounds.
Interesting. Okay, and then your newest CD that came out.
Spirit of the Ancients. Yes, it's. We can talk about that now or later.
Yeah, let's talk about it now.
I recorded it in an ancient cave in New Mexico. So I schlepped, and my wonderful engineer, 50 bowls and one crystal pyramid.
Oh my goodness.
Up into this cave. It's a wide mouth cave, so it has a specific acoustic. So we weren't down under the earth as I was in my last recording. So this was open and wide. The resonance is like nothing I've ever heard. So we could hear a car driving on a dirt road 5 miles away. That's how this whole area was reverberating. Wow. Because it captures the sound. So there are bird songs on the CD. You can hear the wind rustling the poplar leaves. And of course the bowls have a magnificent acoustic resonance. The way it's recorded is that you're able to really follow the waves of these bowls as they are, as I'm just letting them breathe. So you'll hear and I'll play them a little later. So you can hear how the tones and the overtones, when they intersect, they're like little turnkeys in parts of your body where there's need for harmonic fluid.
Okay, up next, we're going to be demonstrating these beautiful bowls and then talking about other things that you can do with other things that you may be able to buy at your local store. Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks. It means so much to me that you're listening to the show. I would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.